Going back to what you're saying about how this sort of really weird fucking tangent, but going back to what you're saying about how there are some people who can appreciate something by knowing everything about that particular thing. Do you find that to you, the more you learn about something, the less you appreciate it, or the more you appreciate it?
More I appreciate it.
Really?
Yeah, nearly always. I don't know why. The more I learn about something, the more I get excited about the small details. And I think that's something I'm really happy that I suppose I have. I didn't realize I should be happy for that, but then
because it's
like
really
you don't.
It's really weird because I've talked to some people like you that the more they learn about certain things, the more they
I love it.
really appreciate.
I love learning.
Yeah, because for me it's like a two-way street, because in one sense it does help me gain a bigger appreciation. Let's say like there's an anime and I learn about the behind the scenes, about how it was made, the animators that did some certain cuts. It makes me appreciate the art form more, and it makes me appreciate the art form deeper. But at the same time, I can never enjoy this anime in the same way ever again.
What?
It's super weird, right?
I kind of get what you're saying.
How?
The magic disappears.
It's like the veil has been uncovered and the magic just disappears.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
What? It's like you'd believe, like, in your head, is it like this anime is in like some kind of realm of magic where it's like, I don't know how it's made. It's awesome.
No, it's like I guess the best way I can describe it is, so there is this very, very famous animator, right? He's called Yutaka Nakamura. And if you've watched any big shonen, you have probably seen some of his work. You don't know you've seen his work, but you've seen some of his works because he has a very distinct animation style, and he animates some of the most hype scenes in all of anime.
Is he the guy that does the block explosions?
Yeah, the block explosions, yeah. So I had no idea. I had no idea about it, about like the old animation scene. And I remember the first time I learned about this, I was like, "Holy shit! This guy's the GOAT. He's the GOAT!" And he looked at all his works. And I'm like, "This guy's freaking amazing." And then I remember I was watching one new anime, probably like My Hero Academia Season 2. And I was like super invested in Todoroki versus...
That fight was amazing.
Yeah, Todoroki versus Deku. It was fucking incredible. I was like immersed. And then in like the most hype moment, I saw his like animation style, I saw his cubes, and it went from holy shit, I'm invested in this fight scene to, oh look, it's a Yutaka Nakamura cut. I knew that. and it just took me out of that moment, in that just because I knew, just because there was something I recognized and something that I need, like I said, the veil had been uncovered, and I was like, it's that thing I learned about.
I think like a good like comparison is like, if you're watching like a magic show, right? And it's like, you're watching the magic show and you're seeing this magician do this trick, and you're like, holy fuck, like that was incredible. That was a great trick. My mind was blown. And then you learn how the trick was done. Yeah. Right? And it's this two-way of like, you appreciate now how much effort these magicians go to like, do the trick and show the illusion. But then you can never see that trick in the same way again.
Yeah.
I think that's like kind of the comparison with that, if that makes sense.
So would this be like, to further question, would this be like your first viewing of that scene, or is this like the second viewing?
This would be my first viewing. Now that I've recognized the style, I guess. Right. It like took me out of the magic, because I know, I guess, the person behind this. And so instead of being invested in the actual show, it just took me out for a moment, just because.
Like now you're thinking about that animator.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way when you see an actor in another new role for a TV series or a movie you watch?
No.
Because theoretically it's the same kind of vibe, right? It's like if you see Leonardo DiCaprio in another film, you're like, well, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. I can't invest myself in this.
No, I think it's slightly different. I think it's more akin to, because to me, an actor is a completely different job, like a completely different role, right? It's not in exactly the same way with the behind the scenes of how it was made, because to me, like the actor is, I guess, he's like a different product in every movie, right? And it's their job to invest me in the character that they're playing, right? And after I learn about what they go through with their roles and everything, for some reason that doesn't ruin it for me.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I know, I think it would be more accurate to say if I know there's a certain director, and I know a director has a certain style, and I really, when I was young, I don't know why I like this director. I don't know why I really like Quentin Tarantino movies, for example. And then I grow older and I realize, oh, it's because of the way he does dialogue, or because like characters are written this way. And as soon as I notice the style or the pattern, and then I see it in his future works, it's kind of like, oh, I know the secret to the trick now. I still think
you can
it's
almost foresee
incredible.
what's about to come.
I still think it's
Yeah.
incredible, but there's some magic there
That's
that
so
is
strange
lost.
that you
I
view
think-
it that
to me.
way.
I think
That's-
I think it works with like animation or like like magic or like directors and stuff like that because like what you're viewing is the art and not the artist. Whereas with an actor, the artist is the art.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's this distinction of like, if you know about the artist who is not at the forefront of whatever you're viewing or experiencing, then it kind of creates two different viewpoints that can distract you from either one, if that makes sense. Whereas if you're looking at an actor, right, because who they are is what you are seeing. It's harder to kind of build that distinction between the two.
Okay.
I think.
Another question.
Yeah.
When you listen to an anime, like you're watching Made in Abyss, and then the soundtrack sounds amazing, but you're like, man, I just picture Kevin just making.
I do.
Does that ruin your enjoyment or change it in any way?
For me, when I watch Made in Abyss Season 2,
Yeah.
right, and you hear Kevin's music in it,
Yeah.
it's fucking incredible, right?
Yeah.
It sounds amazing. I'm invested in the story. But then the musician side of me is like, oh yeah, I think I know how he made this. And I kind of wanted to, and it distracts me being like, oh, okay, so he wrote the song kind of like this. And now all I'm thinking about is the creation process that Kevin went through to make this particular scene. And now I am distracted from actually watching the episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not all the time.
Are you the same then as?
I would. I'm just gonna big up my boy for a second. I think Kevin does a really incredible job at trying different and new things in all of his works. So he has. I would say, I don't know if he's still discovering his style, but he's doing a lot of weird shit. So what happens is I watch a scene and I'm like totally invested, and then I like snap out. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. That little shit made this. What the fuck, man? How the fuck did he make this?
That's so weird that I guess you see it that way. Because when I'm watching stuff, I don't even like. I just watch it and I know that it's maybe this person or something.
Yeah.
But I just don't think about it. Like I'm just focused on the show so much that I don't. It's like when you hear like I guess a voice actor you recognize, right? Because they're so. It's not even the appearance, right? It's the voice. It's like I don't. I more so I kind of like seeing how maybe that person is trying this character, or I like seeing how they do it. It's like ultimately everyone is trying their own take on something.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you start thinking about it too much about who's doing what and it's their style. This is their style. This is them trying this. I feel like you get so lost in that.
I try not to get distracted, but I think there's a tiny part in the back of your head that's like conscious that it's there.
Yeah,
so
I mean, to say, I don't want my mind to work like that. I'm just saying that is just how my mind works.
Yeah.
It's like going back to the Leonardo DiCaprio thing. It's less about Leonardo DiCaprio, but if I kind of, I guess, learned more about acting techniques and different more
How
of
they
like
built the
how they built the
role,
role or something, then yes, I would be very distracted in what he's doing on screen, because he's like, he's doing that acting
I feel like
technique.
you'd just be watching it differently. Like you're not.
You are
I
watching
wouldn't
it.
say you're getting distracted. It's like you're watching it in a different way than I'm watching it.
Yeah,
Like,
you are definitely watching it differently, and I do, like I said, appreciate.
Yeah.
I appreciate it in a different way, but it's not the same kind of enjoyment.
Well,
as
it's like the difference between watching a movie and watching a movie with director's commentary, right? Like it's still enjoyable, but in a completely different aspect.
No, I don't want to watch director's commentary.
Really?
I fucking do not want to.
Oh, I mean, I used to think that, but then I've seen some like director's commentaries of movies I really, really enjoy that I've seen multiple times, and it's like, because I already know the movie and I already know the subject material.
Yeah.
Watching the director's commentary of that movie, I know back to front, gives me like another layer of enjoyment.
Yeah.
Where it's like, now I know the inner workings of this movie and what they were thinking about with particular scenes. And like, that gives me appreciation now on a completely different level.
I guess the only time I've ever watched director's commentary is through the YouTube Shorts or TikTok that plays like the Breaking Bad ones, because they filter out all the other stuff that is boring. Because a lot of the times they're just, you know, they're not saying anything, or they're talking about something completely unrelated.
And
you're like, all right, well, I don't care what Mike the sound guy was talking about when the scene happened. Like, you know,
well, that wouldn't be a director's commentary, would it?
Well, no, because they'll be like, no, as in like they'll be like, because on director's commentaries they'll always go on tangents, like we do, where they talk about something or something someone else in the set did that you have no connection to, and you're like, bro, what the fuck is this?
Well, that's just a bad director's commentary.
A lot of them suck though.
No, a lot of them do.
Because a lot of the times, it's not the director that wants to do this. Like, well, we have a DVD, we've got to add something in to give it something.
Yeah, of course.
Can you just watch the movie and talk over it? And they're like, okay, sure, fine, all right. Well, if it sells more copies, you know. So I feel like it's not even. Those are so boring a lot of the time because they just come from a place of necessity, not from a place of actually like passion about talking about it.
Like on like the flip side though, there are some times where finding out the behind the scenes can make me appreciate something that I didn't really appreciate in the first place. Fucking seeing Avatar 2 behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Holy
it's
shit.
like it's almost like too much. You're like, this seemed like way too much effort for what you got.
It's made me appreciate Avatar 2. Even fucking I actually find the behind the scenes of Avatar 2 more interesting than Avatar
I agree.
2.
How they made Avatar is way more interesting than Avatar.
I mean, every time I talk to Kevin about like, you know, stuff he did for Made in Abyss and like Tower of God, it's like that just makes me appreciate that sound even more now. But at the same time, the next time I watch Tower of God, I'm going to have the back of my mind being like, oh, okay, so this is what Kevin was talking about with this particular track. You know, I don't want to get distracted with it, but it's going to be in the back of my head somewhere.
I did have a moment with Made in Abyss too, actually. Oh, it was there was I can't remember the exact scene on the track, but I just remember it was one of the intense scenes in the latter half of Made in Abyss season 2. There was this dramatic scene coming on, and then out of nowhere, Kevin, there's just this synthesizer solo just comes in, and I'm just like, for fuck's sake, Kevin.
It's like, damn, this seemed dramatic, but Kevin killing it on the synths right now.
I'm like, just like all the flashback of the Kevin episode just come full force.
You just imagine Kevin just fucking...
All those hours of Kevin talking about synthesizers has led to this moment. I'm like, for fuck's sake.
He does love his synths.
He does.
Yeah, he very much does.